What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first official collective podcast, formerly known as the Next Level Podcast. Woo!
Sean waits to do that every week. He has one opportunity to do that.
But that applause was so short-lived. Like, you didn't even let it breathe. So good. So good. One time I was speaking, and I'd said that I always wanted a standing ovation. And so at the end of my talk, one person stood up, and then everybody else like stood up way later out of guilt. And it felt horrible. I was so embarrassed. That's not why we're here. But I don't know
This
why.
a therapy session, Kyle?
Yeah. I mean, it always should be. If we're showing up as our authentic selves and trying to help people, it may be therapy. But guys, on Wednesday on our live call inside the collective, I'm giving a State of the Union address when it comes to all things social media. And I'm super pumped about it. I think it's going to open people's eyes to maybe the way they should be different and change. I know Sean, 30 seconds before we went live, said that he effing hates social media. Exact words. And
did you say effing, or did he actually say the word?
I used the word.
So then it's not exact. It's
but
can we be clear, Kyle?
I'm a better person. So I say
self-proclaimed.
Hey Kyle, just tangent.
What?
Do pastors swear in private?
Oh, bro. All the time.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Now, I never did, because I'm just not a cusser. But like a lot of my pastors that I pastored with, like when we were at camps and stuff, all the time, man.
Like, what kind of camps are they just swearing at?
Well, just like we'd be at youth camp, like in the summer.
Swearing at the youth. Yeah.
And so we would be in our quarters after, hours. All the kids are in their bunks sleeping. And, bro,
they weren't sleeping.
The cigars would come out, maybe whiskey or bourbon.
Really? Okay.
And then, the swear jar would be present because we were no different than anybody else, except me. I've always been different.
So what you did in person, AKA what you did maybe online, you didn't do in person. So you were different is what you're saying. Like pastors were different. Their authentic self didn't show up all the time. Is this what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. Mike Copeland, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging with us. But again, not me.
Yeah.
I am the same everywhere. But bro, can I tell you guys, this isn't what, I guess this is the fun of a podcast. We get to talk about whatever the heck we want, but I didn't try alcohol till I was 30 years old. And it was on a church trip. We, like 7 of us all attended a church conference together in South Carolina and in Myrtle Beach. And that is where I tasted alcohol for the first time because they were like, just do it, man. So
at a church retreat,
you gotta be careful.
Was it bourbon?
I don't even remember because now I'm 41. So 11 years ago is like an eternity to me. I don't think it was bourbon. I think like we started with just like beers and wines and I hated all of it. And it wasn't until we got to the mixed drinks that I was like, oh, I could.
You're more of a hurricane guy, right?
Yeah. But see, here's who I really am. Like I don't love drinking enough to want to spend money on it. So I only drink if it's free to me. Because I just don't enjoy it enough. I'd rather get an appetizer. Like Sean's going to get an old fashioned. And I look at his old fashioned and go, I could have got more potato skins. And that may be why I look like I look and Sean looks like he looks.
Possibly. Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, it all started with the pastors swear in private, and that we've confirmed that they do.
I think every podcast should start off with just like random banter about a subject that people would never predict.
Or not care about.
It's either going to grow the audience immensely or
not.
See, but I think people do care because those are the things that people would wonder, but would never just come out in conversation. And we had 3 listeners when we started, and now we have 7 that are like live. So I think we're crushing it.
Well, it's a great conversation, because what we're really talking about is, do you show up differently in different spaces, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you show up? Like, when I was a fireman, like, we smoked cigars at the station too, but it wasn't like, that was just part of a part of the life, you know? But I felt like I learned to show up the same everywhere, because I learned that it was okay.
Yeah.
You know, because I think a lot of times we're kind of taught in college and in business and in school, like, man, you got to show up your best. You got to put a professional look on, got to put your suit on, whether that's real or like just kind of psychologically. We've been trained culturally that when we go to do something to make money, we have to put on our suit, whether that's real or it's like just putting on the facade. And I think what's so important about what I've learned over the last several years, you coach on, Sean doesn't like, but he's using his social media, the most impactful way to be social on social, and more than just social, but actually leverage it as a tool to make money and grow your sphere of influence, is to be really authentic. And those who are like overly authentic grow the quickest, from what I've seen.
Yeah. So maybe the way we started this is the greatest way to start this episode, because I think I saw a quote somebody was talking about lying the other day, and we're not talking about lying, but just when we act different around different groups of people, we have to try to keep up with, like, how do I act different around them than I do around them? Or what did I say to her that I didn't say to him? And I've just found that, like, my life just got simpler when I basically said, screw it. I'm going to be who I am all the time. And if you like it, great. And if you don't like it, the door's over there, because I don't need everybody in my life. And it's such an advantage on social when you can get to that place and that you're just willing to show up. Like Sean, I would love to see you lean into, like, being the mortgage broker that hates social media, but you do it anyway. Like, just being a little bit more disgruntled every once in a while. I think it'd be funny.
Yeah, the angry, like, there's so many ways you could go with, like, you know, Sean's background, and it could be like the angry this or the angry that, which actually could be super funny. Let me just ask you, Sean.
Really flow for me though.
So Sean, let me ask you, because you said I effing hate social media.
What did he say? Is that what he said?
I'm paraphrasing, and I'm not saying that
he didn't say
said
exactly.
those exact words. Yeah, very different. You said you hate social media.
Yeah.
Why?
It's, for me, an absolute waste of time if it wasn't for business purposes. And so I leverage it to make contacts with realtors and to get what I'm talking about out there. You know, I talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about and see who comments on it. And then I engage with them. But like, I have just tuned out so much of media in general, and social just happens to be part of it in my life. And like, I'd rather just read a book than look at Facebook.
What I feel like I really hear you saying is you hate social media for personal purpose.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's works for me for business.
Because you watch it benefit you business wise, right?
Yeah, but if it wasn't for that, I would turn them all off.
But let me challenge you, Sean. Yeah. You also take, I'm not trying to exaggerate, but about 40 supplements a day. Do you like taking 40 supplements, or do you take 40 supplements because you realize that there's
about 15, bro?
Okay. So you
hold on. You pulled them out of your bag.
This is serious though. You spend more money than probably 99%, and that's not a bad thing, on supplements and nutrition.
For sure I do.
Because you see a result of that investment.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is actually conflicting. You hate social, but you see a benefit, so you do it. Do you hate the supplements because you see a benefit from using the supplements? But like, I don't know if I were you, but if you could get the same result and not take 15 pills that you're paying for, would you rather have the result without taking the pills? Like, I guess, how is supplementing your health any different than supplementing your business by taking a pill 15 minutes a day and engaging online with a sphere of people that generate a significant amount of revenue for your business?
It doesn't provide me any enjoyment to do those things.
But does swallowing pills provide enjoyment for you?
I mean,
the result of those pills do.
I think what I'm saying is the result of no one enjoys taking vitamins, truly, right? Other than my daughter loves taking the gummies because it's like candy.
Fred Flintstone. I mean, you
that's it. So, but no one, like, I take a bunch of pills too, and I'm constantly like, crap, got to take my pills again. I'm like choking them down. Like, it's not fun. They don't taste good. I'd rather eat a steak. They're not cheap. I do an injection once a week. I'm doing other things, but I see the long-term benefit of that. And I would say, Sean, your background, your history, you value health from the perspective of what it's done for you, but also what you've seen it do negatively to other people. And so you do those things. You're the most disciplined guy I know from a health perspective because of your past and what you don't want to have. And you've said this publicly, like, you want to be there for your kids when you're 80 or 90, right?
Yeah.
So what I would challenge you on is social media is no different. Like, I don't enjoy people online who project themselves differently than they really are in person. I don't enjoy people who are passive aggressive. I don't enjoy people who complain. All the reasons I don't enjoy social, I don't enjoy it. However, I am appreciative of it. And I think you're appreciative of the supplements. So I think what's really interesting about this is you appreciate social media, or you wouldn't do it. Like, if you really hated it, you don't do anything really that you hate that doesn't give you a benefit. You get up early. You may not like getting up early. Maybe you're crazy and you get a benefit from it. So I think I'm beating the dead horse here a little bit, but like, what people have to understand is the outcome drives the motivation to be consistent, to do the actions. The outcome of taking the supplements, whether it's seeing like my dad pass away from cancer, drives me to want to eat foods that are going to be low likelihood of causing cancer, right? I don't enjoy those foods. I expect the outcome will provide for my life better. I think with social media, I'm like you. I don't like seeing people fake online. I don't like seeing people complain. I don't like seeing the manipulation of our news and different things. What I really do like is how somebody reached out to me on Sunday and said, "Hey, I see that you're the AIM state captain in Washington," and they wanted to connect. I didn't do anything for that. That was because of social media's benefits, that now I'm able to interact with somebody, support them. They can support me, help my business, help their business through social media. And I think that that's like, so what a lot of people aren't thinking through deep enough, like you do on your physicality, is it's not about enjoying it. It's not about liking it or not liking it. Do you get a good enough result from the effort that justifies the effort? And if you do, you'll do more of it. Now, you might not be getting enough of a result, because if you were making $500,000 a year just off Facebook,
I'd be telling everybody how much I love it. So, and honestly, it's like the way that I've rebuilt my business. It is it's a smaller tool, because I have gone the relationship route, and I'm good at that. And I'd rather have my own events. And so, it's there, but it's not as great as it can be for people to use and tool their business. And as challenging as my way could be, the way that I like to do it works for me a little bit more there.
All right. Here's what I love and hate about what you just said. I think your way of doing business is the best way of doing business. I also think we've perverted what social media is, and it's supposed to be a relationship tool, right? So I think the way you actually are using social media could probably be even better, but is good, because you're not using it to try to grow a following. You're using it to try to stay connected to the people you're building relationships with, right?
Yeah. And I mean, there's people who reach out for some new business on there as well too. And some realtors and other industry people that I make contact with through that way.
Because what I love so much about social media, and I can make a list of the things I hate, but what I love is it gives me access to every human being on the planet whenever I want it. And so what I mean by that is last summer, where Shane and I met for the very first time, speaking at Fuse in Vegas, a guy named Chris Vinson, CEO of Windsor Mortgage, spoke as well. I did not know him. Our paths never crossed physically at the event, but I was in the audience when he spoke, and I just thought, like, that's a guy that I'd love to know. And so literally we got back from Fuse. I sent him a video through Instagram, and I was just like, hey man, you don't know me. We both spoke at Fuse. So I threw that in there, right, to give me a little validity if he didn't know who I was. Like, I'm kind of a big deal. I spoke too, right? And I'd love to connect. Guys, he sent me a message back that said, I don't know how to do a video. How are you doing this? So then I sent him another video back showing him what button to push to make a video. He then sends me a video back. And now, like, I get paid to coach his whole marketing department at Windsor Mortgage. I'm starting to travel the country with him, talking to different mortgage brokerages. And all of it happened because I used it relationally to connect with someone on a personal level. And I really think, like, that is what most people are missing, is they're just posting content and going, well, nothing's happening. My average video gets 100 views. I feel like a loser. I feel like I'm wasting my time. But we've got to be doing those one-off efforts, because right now, Sean, I believe there are realtors that are doing good volume in your city that have probably come across some of your videos, but have never spent a bunch of personal time with you, that are also very passionate about raising their kids the right way. They're passionate about their health. They're passionate about early morning workouts. And if you were to just DM them randomly and go, hey, I've noticed you at some events. I know we've both been in the industry for forever, but how the heck have we never had coffee? That person would be way more likely to go, I'd love to, because they're then going to go look you up and go, oh, this dude's legit. We're actually into a lot of the same stuff. Like, that's relationship building. We just lump that in with social media where we hate it. And I think that's where all of us are leaving a ton of opportunity on the plate.
Well put.
So what you broke down, which I love, is you're using a kind of a sub category of, let's just take Instagram. You brought it up.
Yeah.
Instagram has a bunch of different pillars to it. One being that you can post still images. Another, you can post video, and there's different formats of doing the video. Another pillar is direct messaging. And then you can do a direct message with text, with video, things like that.
Right.
I think that what you've described is the reality that what everyone looks at, they go, I'm going to make money by posting something publicly.
Yeah.
And so then, and that's because Chris Doe has 700 million followers and generates money from his post, when we actually don't know if that's how he or anyone else generates money from social media. We assume that because paid advertisements on social media sell products on social media. The reality is, Sean, is if you looked at Facebook, that's your primary platform, right?
Yes.
And you said, I am going to post organic pictures, stories, and images to build up my background check, so that when I do my primary item on social media, which is private messaging, people go, let me do a background check on this guy. They check your profile. They go, oh, he's got 2 kids. And like, oh, that's Sean. I thought he was somebody different that I worked with 10 years ago or whatever. And I think if you did that, Sean, because what you're doing at your table gatherings and at these other things, man, if you were doing systematic private messaging to a targeted list of people, I feel like if Kyle and I were coaching you on that, you would probably legitimately double your business if you did that as militantly as you do your 5 a.m. workouts.
Agree.
And then if you were making 500,000, you already admitted, you'd be like, I love social media. This is the greatest thing ever. Because what we're talking about, social media is the wrong word. It's social engagement or social posting. And then it's social consuming. So are you social consuming, which is sitting on the couch next to your spouse scrolling? That's social consuming. Are you social posting? I hate Joe Biden. I hate guns. I'm a vegan. This is what I ate, new restaurant. What do you think
fired.
about this? Where do I go to get a new TV? Social posting. Or are you social engaging? Hey, dude, it was great seeing you last week at that event. Dude, we're going to do another one of those events in Hour North. I'd love to have you there as my private guest. That's social engaging, right? And I think that that's the reality is people lump everything into social media when Kyle, Sean, and I have just broken down that there's a bunch of different ways to use the same platform. And Sean, you like social engaging. You just said that that's the number one strategy you're using in your business.
Well, and I don't know how we turned Sean into the test subject today.
We just did.
We just did the material, right?
He may stop showing up. But what I find fascinating about you as a human is what I also think people around you would find fascinating. Like, because I remember when we were all sitting in Colorado in that conference room that we stole from the hotel room that day. And
they let us borrow it. They didn't.
Hey, man.
I mean, they didn't say, they did not say we could have it.
Yeah. Statute of limitations hasn't expired yet on that, by the way. So just pump the brakes a little bit.
We got Shane's credit card. It's fine.
We didn't say the name of the hotel. So, but you pulled out a big old wad of supplements. Like it was in a gallon Ziploc bag, if I remember correctly. And my first thought was, what do all of those do? Right. And so
nothing.
And I'm being serious with this. Like your video, like you're already doing content for mortgage, which is fine, right? Like that's the content we have to do. It's not sexy. It's not fun. Nobody enjoys it. It is what it is. And Dan does a great job helping you guys with that. What people would be really interested in is when you randomly go, hey guys, check this pill out. This is blah, blah, blah.
It's true.
And the reason I take this is because of this, this, and this. There's a lot of people that don't know about this because they've been taught. And now all of a sudden you're going to have supplement people coming out of the woodworks going, bro, I take that. It changed my life. Or other people going, thank you for recommending it. I'm going to go buy it at Whole Foods today. And that is what, like both of you have co-working spaces.
Well, you could get an affiliate on the supplements too, right?
Yeah, sure.
There's a whole nother way.
Right. Like probably not, maybe. The cool thing about the internet to me is the video that makes people famous is never the video they thought was going to be the one that makes them famous. And so could Sean have a supplement video that pops off for 1 million views? 100%, because that happens in real life. Is a mortgage video going to pop off for 1 million views? 0% chance. Never. But you guys also both own co-working spaces, right? Like y'all should be doing more content from different places in your building. Just saying, hey guys, I have a lot of friends that I have lunch with. And when I mention my co-working space, they don't even know that I have it. What a disservice I'm doing to my friends by not letting them know that I have something that may benefit them one day. And so none of that's related to mortgage, but it would all be content that would draw eyeballs to you that I believe would end up resulting in mortgage conversations. And to me, that's where social media can get, I don't even want to say fun, but enjoyable. Because Sean, you like educating people on the supplements you take because you're passionate about it. Right? Yeah, like you'd love for me to say, bro, I bought 4 of the supplements that you have, because you'd be like, man, my buddy Kyle's getting healthier, and you love me, hopefully. And so like you would feel joy in knowing that something you did resulted in my well-being. Maybe.
I think to summarize a few things here.
You and I keep talking and we don't really let Sean talk, even though we're talking about him all the time.
I mean, here's the deal.
Cool. He
set this up by speaking loosely about something when he's a guy who speaks about Marcus Aurelius and intentionality. He said, I hate it, and he doesn't really hate it. So I just called him to the carpet on that. That's what happened here, okay? But what I love about this with Sean is this is an incredible business tool that Sean hasn't leveraged because he hasn't looked at the tool the right way, right? Like, and so for Sean can go out, and Sean's like most people in business. I don't really like it because you're thinking of the negative components of it. You know, yeah, I had a friend who popped off online. I had the coworker did this, spouse did this. I hate seeing this. Yeah, it's all true. But, you know, like Sean's a pretty powerful guy from a mindset perspective. And, you know, Sean, that you can ignore all that and just leverage the good of it. It's no different than like driving a car. I hate rush hour, but I like getting places quicker. Right? There's always a good and bad with everything in business. And you make the good bigger than the bad, and it's going to benefit you more. I think, Sean, what you've really exposed here is that like, and maybe there's more components to social media than just the engaging, the posting, and the consuming. But this is a question to everyone. What's your primary use for social media? Are you just consuming? Like my wife will openly admit, she calls it trolling. Like, she's like, I was trolling. I just was looking online and like just turning her brain off for a few minutes because she's a mom and like she doesn't get to turn her brain off. Are you trolling, AKA consuming? Are you engaging, AKA relational? Or are you posting things to just feel good about getting a like, a comment, or a reaction? And what's your intentionality behind it? Because if you're intentional with it, you're going to get what you intend if you do it consistently. That's what we know about social.
Yeah. That's fair.
Sean?
Yeah.
Sean, close us out.
Well, this has been the first ever collective podcast, hasn't it?
It has.
I mean, it's a pretty big deal here, guys. Yeah. So I would encourage everybody to, dial it into your social media, lean into that. One of the reasons that I do it is because I do like to do things that I really don't care for. And when I say that I don't care for it, like if it wasn't for certain things, like I would still, well, we don't need to open up those whole can of worms. But Shane, go ahead and tell everybody what they need to know for the rest of the day.
No, Sean, we wanted you to close this out, bud. I mean, like, this is your episode to close out.
This is I didn't get the cliff notes on this.
So much pressure.
Close this out, Sean. Like, just in general, social media is a tool. You're more than most people I know, one of the best in the mortgage space at taking a tool and leveraging that tool. You don't even have to know how the tool was designed. Like,
one of the things that you've said for years, and it's the biggest way that I use it, and it's where I think most people miss on. It's about taking the online offline when you look at it. And so that's the reason I'm on it. That's the reason that I do it. Like, because I do have these events that I do. One's coming up next Tuesday, and I'm able to take people who do comment on the things. The reason I post pictures of my kids at breakfast and things like that is because people will comment, and realtors will comment on there that I potentially want to do business with. Then I then take that information, I'm able to look up stats and be like, ooh, they closed 50 transactions last year. Probably half of those were buyers. And then I've been able to get those to my event. So it definitely is a powerful tool that I use, and a nice arrow in the quiver for rocking out my events.
I love it. Well, guys, thank you for joining us on the first official episode of the Collective Podcast. What I'm excited about is bringing more entrepreneurial stories like Sean's, because what's cool about what we talked about is it doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent, a lender, you're in insurance, you sell solar, you're a Cutco rep. It does not matter. Sean's apprehension and Sean's ability to execute and make money leveraging social media are the same for everyone. That's the other thing about social media, is it's really one of the most equal opportunity places for you to grow, whether you want to grow your personality, your business, a club, your workout group. You can grow if you're consistent and you leverage it and you understand your intention and the right lever to pull to get that desired result. And far too many people, and Kyle, what you're really feeling is that people aren't leveraging the tool in the best way that blesses their life. Yep. And if they just did more of that, they would. And so that's one of the beautiful things about it. It's one of the benefits of being surrounded with guys like you in the collective, is we're able to just get perspectives from across the country. We have 2 time zones on this call from 3 distinctly different markets talking about something that really works in any industry. It could be car sales. And man, if you're in car sales and you just leverage your personality a little bit more online, you would be the go-to GMC rep, right? And so I love that about social. I love that. And I'm excited about what that can become in the collective, and much more information to come. If you do want to, find out more about the collective, reach out to any of us. We'll be dropping codes and links and things in the future. But for today, reach out to Kyle or Shane or Sean, and we'd love to tell you more about how you can become a part of the collective coaching. Thanks, you guys.
See ya.